I'm Biggest Loser Carnivore on YouTube. And today, G and I have our friend Audra here to tell her story of how her surgery went. And it is amazing. I mean, I've been listening to it for 10 minutes, and I apologize that you didn't get to listen to it too. But anybody you know who's considering having the surgery or who already had the surgery, this is the story for you. You've absolutely have to share this and spread it, because even if you've had the surgery and you've had the worst of circumstances that we can imagine, there's still life. There's still hope. There's still progress. And if you haven't had the surgery, these side effects that they say are rare aren't as rare as you think. As I tell people I've had this surgery, I've had people reach out. There's some people who are like, my surgery went great, but there's a lot of people who've been like, man, I've had this and this and this. And if I would have known about keto or carnivore, more ketovore, I would have went with that instead of the surgery. So again, I apologize for the delay, but here's Audra. But first I want to introduce my co-host too. G, go ahead.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Gisele G. Brown, the lifestyle changer. I am the co-host on this show and Hanging with the Browns. My story starts April. This month makes 11 years that I had the sleeve. I did not do the bypass where they disconnect the intestines and bypass and make you a smaller stomach. I believe Audra and I had the same surgery, which is the sleeve, where they go in and they give you a stomach about the size of a mini banana. It's in a banana shape. And so we both had that surgery. I did not have the results that Audra had, but I can tell you, I wish I had not had the surgery. And I say this for everyone that wants to be smaller. I'm talking to the people way in the back. Y'all hear me back there? You only see smaller. You can hear some of the side effects. That's not going to happen to me. I'm just tired of this weight. I want to lose weight. I want to be smaller. Even though you've been taking blood pressure medicine and all of that, you make your mouth say, I want to have lower pressure. But in actuality, most women, you are tired of yo-yo dieting and you want to be smaller. And I know that was it for me. How I know? You guys are getting B12 shots, Ozempic, you're trying everything. What is this new thing? Jamaican black castor oil in your belly button. It's all kind of things that we're trying because we don't want to tame this pie hole of ours. But with the carnivore diet, what I was sharing earlier is this. I believe now, smaller was not even the biggest thing, even though I thought of it, but my health, to the point where yesterday I got braces because I'm going to be using these for the next 50 years minimum, maybe 55, could be 60. I don't know, but 50 for sure. And I want to be able to chew my meat, do what I need to do. And that's the back of my story. If you guys have any questions, please put it down in the comments. Say QQQ. You have 2 gastric sleeves, 1 gastric bypass, a Biggest Loser, the all things Audra, the best comeback story. So without any further ado, we were going to pop her in, but she's already here. Hey, Miss Audra, go ahead, girl, and tell us this story.
Good morning, ladies. Thank you for having me on the channel. My name is Audra, and I live in North Carolina. I had weight loss surgery in January of 2013. So it's been 11 years, and basically, I was saying earlier, I feel like we're going backwards, but earlier we all grew up in such a sugar world. I mean, as kids, I was given sugar, sugar, sugar. You know, you were good. You had candy, you had cookies, you had ice cream, whatever your thing was. So I was addicted to sugar growing up. Never really had a problem until I got into my late 20s, early 30s. And then the sugar started catching up with me, started having more of a weight issue. Did every diet known to man, you name it, you know, the cabbage soup diet, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, whatever the diet was. And I could always lose weight. I could do good, I could lose weight, but then I would always let the sugar come back in. And that's when I would be face down in the ditch. The sugar bus would run over me. I would be hooked on sugar again, and the weight would go back up. So in 2012, I decided that in 2013, I was going to have weight loss surgery. So I went and looked into it. That's going to be the end all, fix all, going to lose the weight, never gain it back. Wrong. Anyway, so they do surgery on your stomach, but they don't do surgery on your brain, and that's where the problem is. That's where all of the cravings come from. But anyway, so I had the surgery. Should have been in the hospital 2 days. I was in the hospital for 8 weeks. I had the surgery. The next day, they determined that I had a leak in my stomach, and it was leaking out into a JP drain. They gave me some red Gatorade to drink the next day, and when they saw the red in the JP drain, they said, "Oh, we got a problem." Rushed me back to surgery, tried to repair the leak, thought they repaired it, determined that they did not. So they said they couldn't really do it again. We just need to let it heal itself. So I ended up being in the hospital for 8 weeks. I had a PICC line in my arm. I had TPN, which is called total parental nutrition, which is basically sugar water, 1,600 calories a day of sugar water. I could not have anything by mouth, no water, no ice, no chips, nothing by mouth whatsoever, because it would leak out into this JP drain, and it could potentially leak into my system because there was a hole in my stomach. So I was in the hospital 8 weeks. Was able to come home, ended up having to see a surgeon at another hospital to go down my throat twice to repair the leak from within my stomach. Okay, and they started me eating. They said, I need you to eat like a few crackers or a few just very light things to help the stomach to start working again and to start to heal itself. So thank goodness it did heal itself. But for the 21 weeks that I was in PO, my kitchen looked like a miniature hospital. I literally went through 32 syringes of saline solution a day. I had antibiotics. I had to have Benadryl because it was making me have hives from the antibiotics. And nothing by mouth. Nothing by mouth. Everything had to go through the PICC line, the IV in my arm, basically. Not IV, but the PICC line itself. I'm not a medical person, so if I say something wrong, don't correct me. I'm just saying how my experience was with it. Thank goodness today I'm okay. I don't have any bad things that have happened to me or any side effects from the surgery. I have been carnivore now for 2.5 years. Had I known about carnivore prior to the weight loss surgery, I would not have had the weight loss surgery. Like G was saying, I have the sleeve, so I do not have a bypass. So if I eat 1,000 calories a day, I absorb 1,000 calories a day. Where someone like Adrian, if you eat 1,000 calories a day, you only absorb about 700 because you have a bypass. So that's the difference in the surgeries. Now, people think after you've had this surgery, oh, you're never going to gain the weight back. You're golden. No, that is not true. I lost about 75 pounds with the weight loss surgery. And guess what happened? Just guess. Just guess what happened. What did I do? I went back to sugar. Back to the sugar. The weight went back up. And then, I had to figure out what to do then. So, I messed with other things. I did some fasting. I did some different things. Still struggling. Why is the weight coming back? What am I doing wrong? And what I was doing wrong was I never took the sugar totally out of my diet. I would let it back in. I would let the carbs back in, eat the grilled chicken salads, but yet didn't have a cookie, So eventually when I found carnivore, I knew that's where I could thrive. I took the sugar away. I no longer have sugar cravings. I've been carnivore now for 2.5 years. Best thing I ever done, literally. If somebody would have told me 3 years ago, you're never going to crave sugar again, I would have said, no way. I've craved sugar all my life. You don't crave sugar when you go carnivore.
Not at all. Your story is phenomenal. That's one of the things that made me fearful. let's talk a little bit. I want to know what happened before your surgery. All right. So for me, and I don't think I broke this down even with Adrian. So for me, prior to, I say that the hospital and doctor really covered themselves. I had to go see a nutritionist. I had to go see a therapist. And then we had the group session. That's where we met. They went over the two different types of surgeries. That's where we met like people that worked in their office, and all I saw was smaller and bigger over here where I was sitting. You know, I'm looking at some people needing two chairs to sit in, and all, and our agony because we want to be smaller. And so I think everybody did some form of a manipulation prior to, like you said, you ended up having to gain 25 pounds. Look, I don't know if you said that first or second time, but gain 25 pounds to qualify to make sure of your BMI. Same thing, just making sure, because for me, in my insurance, it was 3 years that you had to register X amount on your BMI. And tell me a little bit, tell us, what were the steps prior to? Because I know for me, they said no carbonation. And when they started talking about that leakage, but it sounds like you didn't even make it to a meal or anything before they found leakage. What was your process like? What all did the hospital or doctor lay out that you had to do prior to?
I had to do the same thing as you. I had to see a nutritionist. I had to see, make sure you were mentally stable, had to go to the group setting. I kind of decided like in October or November that this was something I wanted to do, and I moved into it. And when I tell you I moved into it, I had the surgery in January. I moved into it really quickly because, like you said, I thought this was going to be the end all, fix all, and they said to me, "Oh, after you have the weight loss surgery, you won't gain the weight back. You won't gain you won't be able to gain the weight back." That's what they said. And of course you believe it. You believe it, and you think, okay, I've struggled with this so long, and you think, well, this is going to be the end of struggle, and I'm not going to have to struggle anymore. But that's not true. And the way they tell you to eat, they say, oh, you got to eat the standard American diet, this much protein, this much vegetables, try to eliminate the sugar. But they don't really go into a lot of detail about it because they're just there to do the surgery. And after the surgery, you're basically on your own. So after the surgery, they start you back on like Gatorade in the hospital. You have a little Gatorade. You have to learn to drink just a little bit, like the size of like a little peel cup. That's about all you can drink at a time, not even 2 ounces. But as soon as I drank the first Gatorade and you have this JP drain, the JP drain turned red. So they knew the Gatorade had left my body and was in the JP drain. So they knew immediately I had a leak, and they rushed me into surgery. But yeah, I did have to take the steps that you're talking about prior to the surgery. And I did lose weight, but I gained it back. Not all of it, but a good portion of it.
Well, that is pretty much our story, our meaning. Most gastric patients, the weight comes back. I saw a young lady on Instagram today, and her before and after, and I'm looking and I'm like, oh, I hope you don't like gain all of it or some of it back. What about you, Adrian? What was your before? Did you have to see the therapist, the nutritionist, and all of that for your surgery as well?
I saw a nutritionist. I joined the Emily program, which is an eating disorder program to help with my binge eating. And then I took a psychological evaluation. Did you guys have to do that? The DCSM, I think it's called. But mine was pretty fast forwarded because I played the Biggest Loser card and they were like, yeah, you know how to lose weight. Perfect. I too, before having that initial appointment, had to gain some weight. But here's the thing. The reason I did it was because I had gotten down and I was already going back up. And so I saw. So here's one thing I want to say is the reason I want you to share this with people, our podcast, our show here, is because just like Audra, once I decided, there wasn't anyone that was going to stop me. No one, because I had decided this was finally going to fix me. This is going to heal me. I'm broken. I do want to add one more piece too, Audra. You had said about the malabsorption with the gastric bypass. Within like 6 months, that heals. And so, I mean, you ask any gastric bypass, I feel like I absorb more than most people. And the problem is I absorb all the carbs and all the, the stuff, but I don't absorb the B12, the folate, the iron, the important stuff. Because the thing, another thing, Audra had said that this didn't change her brain. This didn't change her cravings. And I had heard many people refer to the stomach as a brain. And when you cut into this stomach, this hormone center that's sending indications all over, they say, we can't tell you what your specific side effects are going to be because we just don't know your specific stomach and how that works. And so, Audra, I don't know if you know, but Gie actually has never gotten her hunger back. Her hunger cues are gone. Crazy, huh?
Yeah. So for me, I tell people, that I was, and I still haven't done it, I was going to activate the drink water on my cell phone to remind me to eat, because I will just keep going. And then if I start feeling a little lightheaded or something, then I'll stop and say, okay, what did I eat today? Yeah. Now I'll drink my water, but that cue for, girl, it's time to eat. Yeah, I can fast for like forever, ever. But here's another thing. All of this works together. So I'm telling you that I'm not eating, but I'm still 140 pounds. So it's not like the weight is falling off. I don't have any carbs in my system. So what is happening in my body is just, to me, is just adjusting itself, because I have to force feed it for the most part. But honey, when I do eat, I eat well. That's my next question to you, Audra. Take us through a day of your eating then and now.
You mean like before weight loss surgery?
Oh no, we already know, like before then, but like once your stomach, you were so-called healed and you were able to eat, what was that like for you? And now how many times a day? Because a lot of people want to know, when you're carnivore, how often do you eat? Because people are trying to figure out what works best for them. So they ask questions. But in our case, I don't know many that eat one time a day. I will if I forget. But tell me, after my surgery, I was somewhat healed. I was able to put food down. I was reverting back to sugar, and I ate X amount, or I just ate whenever I wanted to. And then go over into what you do now.
Okay, so prior to weight loss surgery, I want to say this. I was never a volume eater, okay? I wouldn't like sit down and just like indulge in a buffet, okay? I would have like a salad and a whole bunch of dessert. a whole bunch of sugar. That was my thing. I would eat a small salad and bring me the biggest, baddest, meanest dessert you have in the restaurant. That's how I was. So I've never been per se a volume eater. Okay, so after I had weight loss surgery, of course, I was trying to find my footing, trying to find my ground. Same as you, G. I wanted to be small, and I lost the weight. I went, from like size 18, 20 down to like 8s and 10s, okay? And I did good with it. But then I've had a lot of steroids in my life because I have a lot of allergies and asthma. So every time I would have steroids, then of course, here comes the cravings. Here comes all the food back because I'd never eliminated the sugar. And then here would come 10, 15, 20 pounds. So, and then I would have to get work to get that back down. Okay, then fast forward, I find carnivore. So a typical carnivore day for me would look something like bacon and eggs for breakfast. If I don't eat breakfast every day, it just depends. I try to eat I just try to eat intuitively. If I'm hungry, then I eat. And I do have less hunger signals like you do too, G. But some mornings I wake up and I think, I'm hungry today. I want breakfast. Other mornings, I may not have my first meal till noon. It just kind of depends. I just go on how I feel. I do eat a lot of dehydrated meat. And for me, that works really well. If you check out my YouTube channel, All Things Audra, I have lots of videos on there on dehydrating meat. So I eat a lot of pork loin dehydrated. I eat a lot of ribeye dehydrated, a lot of chuck eye. I actually dehydrate ground hamburger. And for me, that works really well. I eat a lot of bacon, try to keep, I try to keep meat readily available if I want something because I don't always have time to cook it. I'll even cook steak and just keep it in the refrigerator and eat it cold. Prior to carnivore, I wouldn't have eaten no meat cold, nor would I have ever touched a piece of fat. I cut all that fat off. Oh, I don't like it. Now, are you not going to eat that fat? I'll eat your fat. So, but yeah, that's kind of how it looks for me now after the fact, being carnivore. I don't have a lot of hunger signals, but when I do, then I have stuff ready.
Can we, since we're there, Allison had the question of once you've had the surgery, or no, once you started to eat more meat, did you have stomach and digestive issues?
Hey, Miss Allie, hope you're having a great day. Thanks for sending a question in. No, for the most part, before I had weight loss surgery, I had major reflux. I mean, I took medication daily for reflux. Daily, would never go without it. And if I had like some chocolate or some orange juice, it was terrible. But now after the weight loss surgery, knock on wood, I don't have any digestion issues. I don't have any reflux. Once in a while, if I overeat fat in one setting, I might have a little bit, just a tiny bit, but then I know I had a little bit too much fat.
Well, that's remarkable because that's not my story. I was having this burning sensation right down here. I didn't know what heartburn. My heart is up here. So does it burn here? Does it burn down there? And I had both ends, endo and exo, done and found out that I was suffering with some acid reflux. It never came up, but it was just down at the base because when I say to you, look, let me show you what my stomach acids do. I'm being extra. Here's my stomach acids. That's what mine would do to me, even now. So I'll drink water to kind of subside it, or I might have to revert to taking a pill. So that I developed after my surgery, I developed high blood pressure. Because I didn't have diabetes, no cholesterol issues, no blood pressure issues, none of that. I had pain issues, fibromyalgia, things to that degree. So that's why I said, I just want to be smaller. What do you mean? I wasn't looking at the other ailments because I didn't have the cholesterol, the blood pressure, or sugar diabetes. Them top three I didn't have. So I felt I was a healthy individual. A lot of us think that way when you have so many other issues that's going on. And after the surgery, I developed high blood pressure. That was the strangest thing to me. And the more weight now that I had on me, the higher my pressure was. And so, yeah, that's a little different. And once again, like Adrian said,
the A's and A's.
I know they can't tell you what your side effects are going to be until after you have the surgery. And it's like, oh, this is what happened to me. Oh, this is what, because everybody's story is different, but yet the same, if that makes sense. You're having some issues. You're going to the same issues you had with food. They're still there because that portion wasn't healed at all. Do you have a question, Adrian?
Oh, I want to say for the same for me. I won't answer that question, but also, the problem with any of the surgeries is it doesn't get to the root of the problem. Sorry, that's very Minnesotan. The root of the problem, which is, I think we're all kind of saying is, what is your relationship with how you eat? Do you have sober behavior around eating, as Dr. Lisa would say? And then number two is, for me, autoimmune issues. This doesn't help autoimmune. It actually makes it worse. My dream putting it out in the universe there that we could have Dr. Saivez and Dr. Ben Bickman on our show to answer some questions that I have about stomach acid, because when I first started this, I couldn't hardly eat ground beef or scrambled eggs. So when I started carnivore, so that was a year or so ago, so I'm 9 years past surgery, 9 years past my surgery, I'm having a difficulty eating meat. So when my dad said, hey, autoimmune people just eat meat, I was like, oh, that's not going to work for me. That hurts, you know, but the stomach acid like grew, something grew. But my question for those doctors would be, sometimes if I take a break, like if I do a sardine fast and I go back to eating hamburger, that stomach acid seems to drop real fast and I have to grow it back. But the good news is it comes back within a few days. So it definitely gets better. And then I forget what the question even was. Oh yeah. So it was difficult to eat meat at first, but it's definitely overcomable. And in the meantime, I've heard some great suggestions. Drink keto chow. They have a whey base and they have a beef base, and and they have their minerals in there. So it's just so much healthier than the Ensure we were told to drink, or the Premier Protein we were told to drink, which is full of nasty ingredients and seed oils and ugh. And then another one, I would have eaten more pemmican, more carnivore bar type stuff, because it melts in your stomach. And like Audra said, the dehydrated meat, you know, your stomach is smaller, so it's hard to get what you need in nutrient wise. But when you dehydrate it like that, you can get some more of that nutrient in. So those are some tips.
Yeah. There's a question over in the comments from Mary O, and she says, how do you change your mindset? I'm struggling with that because hubby's not doing this, so there are sweets in the house. So for me, for that, I think that's really important, because I had a huge issue with sweets. And this is kind of how I dealt with it. If there's going to be sweets in the house, you need to move that to your private cabinet, your little area. I don't want it sitting on the counter when I walk in speaking to me. But once you start the carnivore lifestyle and you start eliminating the sugar completely from your diet, you're not going to have the cravings. The cravings will go away. But keep in mind, any sweet taste or flavor that you put on your tongue it lights your brain up. It lights your brain up and says, hey, we need more sugar. So you need to totally stay away from sugar, anything sweet, even sugar-free chewing gum, you know, even like sugar-free drinks, like Coke Zero, things of that nature, still have that sweetness there. And you want to try to eliminate that moving forward, because the less of it you have, the less of it you crave. And it really does not fix your brain, because our brain plays a lot of tricks on us, you know. For me to even think about touching my foot back in the water, like just touching my toe in the water of sugar, no, I'm not interested, because now it's taken me this long. I'm 56 years old. Didn't say that earlier, but it's taken me this long to figure out that I cannot go back to sugar. Okay, no matter what diet I had, no matter what weight loss surgery I had, no matter what end all, fix all, blah, 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 at the end of the day, no more sugar. I cannot have sugar. I am not a moderator, okay? I have to be an abstainer. For me, I'm that person that if I go in there and eat some of them cookies, I got an Oreo. Who can eat one Oreo? I can't. I got to eat the whole row. So for me, I have to be an abstainer, and that means to never have the first one, the first bite, the first nothing. I have to be an abstainer. And that's what's changed for me with the carnivore diet that I never found with anything else, even with weight loss surgery. You can have weight loss surgery and you can be like me and G, C small. I didn't have any problems either. I didn't have cholesterol. I didn't have high blood pressure. I didn't have diabetes. I had none of those issues. Okay. So I just wanted to no longer struggle with yo-yo dieting. And unfortunately, weight loss surgery does not fix that. You can go carnivore and have better success than any weight loss surgery. Matter of fact, and I'm not going to name this group that's on Facebook, it's a huge Facebook group, and it pertains to people who've had weight loss surgery. There's over 100,000 people on that Facebook group. And occasionally when I stop by there and read some comments, this is what they say, the majority of the comments, 8 out of 10 comments. Oh my gosh, I'm X amount of years out and I'm up 40 pounds. Oh my gosh, I'm 2 years out and I've gained 50 pounds back. Oh my gosh, my weight's starting to creep up. What are y'all doing? Somebody help me. How do you stop? I had the weight loss surgery. Now my weight's creeping back up. And I'm not saying every person who has weight loss surgery gains their weight back, but almost every person I know personally who's had weight loss surgery has gained a large portion of their weight back. Maybe not all of it, but enough to really matter.
Definitely struggling and
Yeah.
just trying to figure out, how do I keep from gaining this weight back, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
wanted to, with Mary was asking about the mindset. I'm fortunate that my husband is doing this. Well, I'm actually doing it with him because he started 2 days before me. It's 325 days today of me being on the carnivore diet. I'll come up on my carnivore carniversary in May. And there are times where he'll have something. That's his walk. I don't have it. I had an episode. It depends on if your why makes you cry. That's the best way. Why are you now doing the carnivore diet? If it's just for losing weight, there will be a struggle. So for me, I thought I was doing well. I'm eating my meat, and then I'm a sauce monster. I love sauces and barbecue sauce. Oh, with some oh my goodness. And so I decided to have a little container of barbecue sauce. By that next day, the pain in my left hip, I could not walk with pain free for 2 days. That was enough for me to say, I don't know what will set me off, but I know it was the sugar inside of this barbecue sauce. And so that was enough for me to not want to venture off because I didn't know what was going to trigger me. And so it was like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I want to address something else. Bruce, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Bruce, I don't know what that surgery is. What is that?
That's my surgery. The Roux-en-Y is the same. It's another name for gastric bypass because of the shape of what they do and rerouting.
Gotcha. Okay.
I do want to share too, though, that he said his wife has kept her weight off. So we'd love to share that too, that sometimes that weight does come off, and we are so happy when that happens. But if there, a lot of people struggle, but we're happy for your wife, Bruce.
Yeah.
I see where somebody asked, is the sleeve reversible? No, the sleeve is not reversible.
Okay, so we talked about that last week on the show. And so I was over here pulling up what was said. The question was reversibility in the gastric bypass, why they claim it's possible to revise the surgery is more of what they say. It's a complex procedure compared to the gastric sleeve. So because her body parts are still inside of her. So the stomach is still there. What they would do to revive that, I don't know. But when it comes to the sleeve, the only method for us is to go over to the bypass. So, well, thank you, Mary. So
thank you, Mary.
that is like the biggest thing. We could go over to the bypass because now we have the smaller stomach and they can reroute our intestines. Because keep in mind, they always say that Adrian surgery gives you the best results for weight loss. So they would take Audra and I, and they could make us into a bypass. But now we found carnivore, and we, all three of us, if we had this in the beginning, there would be no bypass show. And the last question came up asking about supplements. So I know, I think that would be a good one for all. Yep. For all of us. Leah asked it, and someone else had asked that question as well. For me, the only supplement I take is magnesium because I had restless leg syndrome really bad. As a matter of fact, I still this was something that worked for me. The copper bracelet with the magnets on it, this is something that worked for me. It doesn't work for everyone. So between this and the magnesium, I do take that because it's supposed to help. I drink electrolytes, but normally, because that is really salty, I'll make a bottle of electrolytes and I'll pour about this much in my cup and the rest will be water. And then I keep it going like that. So it's highly diluted for me. So I wanted to touch on those. No, once you have it, and then for us with the sleeve, our stomach is biodegradable in the little red bag somewhere. It's gone.
I don't know if I said this in the first part where we weren't live or the second part, but for me, when I started carnivore, I noticed that inflammation went away, arthritis went away. I used to have skin tags. Skin tags went away. Somebody said, "Oh, you wear a necklace, that's causing skin tags." Well, I quit wearing a necklace and they didn't go away. But when I went carnivore, I just noticed one day they're gone. And I wear a necklace and I had skin tags on my neck and I would have them cut off, at the doctor's office because I didn't like it. But skin tags are gone. I had a lot of inflammation, arthritis. I was getting neuropathy in my right foot. At night, I would have this tingling sensation like somebody was sticking pins in my foot. Gone, completely gone. I have more energy than I know what to do with. If somebody was contemplating having weight loss surgery, I would recommend going carnivore because, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you still got to change what you eat. And it doesn't matter what surgery you have, whether you have the Roux-en-Y, whether you have the sleeve, whether you have the stomach banding, whatever you have done, at the end of the day, you still got to change your relationship with food. And food is addictive. There's all kinds of addiction. There's drug addiction, alcohol addiction, cigarettes, food, sugar, whatever your addiction is, you've got to change it. And in order to get to where you need to get, then you've got to eliminate what's causing the problem. And for me, the problem was the sugar. And it just kept coming back. It's kind of like the boogeyman outside. He's out there, but you don't go out there and be like, "Hey, let's try this today. Let's have some sugar." No, I don't do that anymore. No sugar, no sweets, no carbs, and I have no cravings. And I don't have to worry about yo-yo dieting. I finally found my cure, and it was not weight loss surgery.
Can I tell you about my supplements? Okay, so when I had the surgery, they told me, listen, you're going to have to take calcium, iron, and a multivitamin for the rest of your life. And calcium was 4 times a day, and it was a chew, and it had sweetener in it. So it was like eating candy all day long. So I actually liked these things, but that's like perpetuating the addiction, but number 2, calcium supplementation, and we could go into it much deeper and maybe even ask a doctor to come on and talk about it. But I believe that it blocks some of the absorption of your nutrients when you're eating and stuff. And I don't think it's great for your gut. And I don't even know if it really does anything. So that's one thing that I stopped. And then iron is just really hard to absorb through your gut because they just altered me. So I was taking this iron and still anemic. And then the multivitamin, I was taking that as well. It was also a chewable. So I was just basically eating chewy candy all day long. But today I take, and now not everybody does this. I take a lot. I take a lot of stuff. This is a lot of oils. This is a lot of magnesium, NAC, lots of stuff. I take this liposomal phosphate. I drink electrolytes a lot because I just flush them like crazy. So, but my goal now that I'm carnivore, because when you're carnivore, the goal would be meat is the most nutrient dense food we can have. It's more nutrient dense than any supplements we could possibly take. It's more bioavailable. So my goal would be heal my gut, heal my inflammation, because I'm dealing with chronic inflammatory response syndrome. And one of my events was my surgery. Chronic inflammatory response syndrome is triggered by events. And one of my events was the surgery. And so a lot of this is to try to calm some of my inflammation down and heal. So my goal is to heal. And then if I had to just eat, maybe if I have to add some organ, I guess, you know, a little bit here and there, but our meat is supposed to, red meat, ruminant meat is supposed to be the most bioavailable nutrients you can have. So my goal would be to get off of all of this, but not this because it tastes good.
Every year when I have my
This is just
physical,
plain slate. It doesn't have any sweetener. Just throwing that out there. No sweetener over here either.
every year when I have my physical, they do extensive blood work because I've had weight loss surgery. And every year, everything is great. Sometimes my vitamin D is a little low, but that's just in the winter months. But then when the summer months are here and the sun's out and I'm more out, then the vitamin D goes right back up. But other than that, I do good. Sometimes I'll do some magnesium, but I do that more for sleep than anything else. Other than that, that's it for me. I don't really do any supplements. And like I said, thank goodness all the trouble that I had and all that I went through, thank goodness I'm on the other side of that and I don't have any repercussions from that. Because it could have been it could have been bad.
I have repercussions. And but
But
this is very
everybody's
common
different.
in the gastric bypass that I now need iron infusions because it's not absorbing through my gut. And like I said, I am hopeful that I can heal it because I believe all things are healable, but maybe you can't heal skipping a big part of your intestine.
Maybe.
Well, let me ask this question. Where do you see yourself, Audra, going? Because, all right, so I'll say for me, and I should not have done this. I'm turning 60, and I said by my 60th birthday, I want to be 125. And so I am now kind of keeping in mind, you know, pushing myself for that goal versus I've come back off of doing that because my feeling is I'm going to let my body do what it needs to do. I have sent my body through so much. I think of the fibroids that I had that could have been fought with this diet. I can possibly still have my uterus if I was on this diet. So there's so many different things. I have not had my 1 year carniversary. So I relieved that pressure up off myself. I said, I'm not at 200 or 300 pounds. So I'm going to look cute in my birthday outfit. And I just see myself learning more about me, listening to what my body is telling me, making the adjustments. If I decide to have a cup of coffee, it's my business. If I decide to, I won't let an outside turn around and say, you know, X, Y, and Z for my health. Now, the flip side of that, you can't say that the carnivore diet is not working for you and you're adding in a lot of different things and not really giving the carnivore diet a true testament in your life. So you can't have it both ways. In other words, I'm not going to come on here and complain if I've added some stuff back. If a week has gone by and I'm having my weekend moments, it doesn't work like that. This is not a diet. This is a life change that you would be making. So for you, Audra, where do you see Audra in the next year, 5 years, and beyond?
Okay, so for me, initially, it was all about the weight loss. It was about the weight loss, the weight loss, the weight loss. I was chasing the numbers, chasing the numbers. Now, for me, I'm not chasing the numbers anymore. For me, it's about being the healthiest me I can be. My mom was my why that made me cry. My mom passed away last year of dementia. And, you know, they're calling dementia now type 3 diabetes. So, you know, does doing carnivore mean I'm never going to get dementia, never going to get cancer? No, it does not mean that. But if it will lower my risk of potentially ending up with something like that, then I'm willing to stay carnivore from now on. But for me, moving forward, I just want to be the healthiest me I can be. Honestly, the one regret that I have about carnivore, I have one regret. Are you ready? I wish I would have started this 10 years ago. That is my regret. The
Me
only
too.
regret I have about carnivore. But for me, I want to continue to be the healthiest me I can be. You know, as we get older, we develop more medical problems, we develop more disease, more autoimmune. So the fact that we're staying carnivore and we're not putting these chemicals, all this processed food, processed sugar, all that in our bodies, we got to be better. It's got to help going down the road. So that's where I want to go. I just celebrated my 1 year anniversary this year of coaching carnivore. So if anybody's interested in that, it's allthingsaudra.com. And like I said, it's about community. Community helps. It really does help to be with like-minded people. And for me, like I said, I was chasing the weight loss, but I've decided now that I'm okay. I'm okay. I feel great. I feel better than I feel like I'm back in my 20s or my 30s, and I feel amazing. And for me, I want to continue to feel that way. And I don't want to be obsessed about a number, whatever the number may be. Granted, I don't want to be 200 or 300 pounds again, but at the same time, I want to be the healthiest me I can be. And I want to feel good and I want to thrive.
Can I answer this question too? You guys know what I mean when you lose that weight and then you gain it back. And when you lose that weight and you do it on TV and everybody's cheering for you and there's commercials of you and then you gain it back and then you just feel like I'm a failure. I did this to myself. There's just so much negativity. Like, it's not just that you have to carry it around on your heart. You have to carry, or not just your body, you have to carry it around on your heart and your mind too. And so as I keep going, I mean, just like you ladies, if there's anything I can do to help someone else not continue to feel that way, not feel like this is a life sentence, not, there goes my tree, you know, not just think this is a life sentence, then I am here to help. And then same with, I look at the next generation. These kids need to know this food does have consequence. You can hurt yourself even as a child eating these seed oils and these sugars and being addicts, and it can affect you for your whole life. And it seems like once you get to a certain point, it's tough after that. It's not easy to fix it after that. It's work. And I see that in my kids already. And so I just want to just keep doing this and keep feeling good, but also keep spreading the message and helping whoever we can so that they don't have to think that they're just stuck. That's just how they are. No, it's not. We don't have a people problem. We have a food problem.
That is so true. And I'll add, this encouraged me so much where we started a YouTube channel. I was on Facebook, Instagram, different things like that. And I always say my husband has a PhD from YouTube University. So I'm going on, he goes to YouTube for it and hangs in there. And I said, this time, dude, I didn't listen, everyone. My mother, Audra, that hit me as well, because my mother, she only had stage 3 cancer. My mother should have survived that. But you go to treatment and they give you Ensure and all of this other stuff, which is feeding. So it's like it's going into this circle. I know that if I would have known about the carnivore diet, my mother would still be here. She would have followed in regards to that. I know wholeheartedly. So starting the channel, one of the things that I did was educated myself, went and got my certification in nutrition. And I too coach. I don't push it a whole lot because I only work with people during the first 30 days. Outside of that, because I feel that those are the ones where your cravings, where your questions, where all of these things are coming in, are in those first 30 days. I have menus. I have it all. You can get those for free. Just go to giebrown.com, GIEBROWN.com. At the top, there's a questionnaire. You fill it out. And the questionnaire is for you, not for me. It's you writing out everything for your records. And then you move forward. There's daily logs in it, different things like that, because this is the thing that's life-changing. This is it. My heart hurts. Dementia. I know that with that, sugar was blocking those memories. Dementia is known now as a type 3 diabetes. Look it up. I did a show on that. you're just kind of moving forward. And at some point, you got to stop and make the change for yourself. I love what we do. I really, really do. I got to get out of here. I'm gonna let you ladies keep going because life is going on. I have another appointment, but you can find me, of course, at gbrown.com, hanging with the Browns. We got the information going across the bottom. Audra, it was a pleasure meeting you. We are gastric sisters. I'm good with that. I love the work that you're doing. I love seeing you on social media. I love you sharing your story. I love getting this information out because, guys, listen, if we can stop some doctors from vacationing, buying a yacht, and all of that, because that's all they're doing with our money. And then later on, we're having these issues when it was the food in the very beginning. And Adrian, you my love, my co-host. Anyway, so you all enjoy the rest of this. Thank you, everyone. And I will see you on the flip side.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great day. Yes. Hey, Audra, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I can't think of anything right this minute other than I see where Cindy just said community is the opposite of addiction, and that's true. I mean, sometimes just to know that somebody's going through the same thing that you're going through, and they can kind of throw you a life vest out there. Hey, come on board, let me try to help out. I mean, that's just like the Biggest Loser show. Look how popular that is and how many people watch it because people want help. They want help. But then and when it's all said and done, the same thing with the weight loss surgery, you think that's an end-all, fix-all, and it's not. It's really not. It is basically what your relationship is with food. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that for 50 years of my life.
I don't give the producers enough credit because the show, everybody did gain their weight back. But I've met the producers and their intent behind it was very good, which is why all these communities started poking up, why behind the scenes they were letting other people be part of the program and have some of the benefits. On our season, there were people that didn't pass the medical test, so they couldn't be on the show, but they let them be part of the at-home program. Their intent there was really good. It's just that the method that all the doctors, same with doctors, they're trying to help you, but the information that they have is for you to reduce and restrict and run and to move more and eat less. And the information that they have too isn't going to work because it's going to shut your metabolism down and it doesn't get to the root of the issue. So yeah, the communities I've been part of were Danny Conway. She has some amazing information. There was this one on one of her sessions was what's stopping you from continuing to lose weight. And she gave like 20 things that were things that I could work on. We could all work on. And then I've been part of Kelly's groups, Zero Carb. And then my main one is Dr. Lisa Wiedemann. And she has meetings every week about just being food sober. For you, sugar sober. For me, also, I need to be pork rind sober and I need to be dairy sober.
Yeah. I've been a part of Kelly's group. I've been a part of Lisa's group. I've been a part of Steak and Butter Gang. I've been a part of Dr. Barry's groups. And everybody brings something different to the table, and you just have to find what basically resonates with you, because everybody's different. I mean, we don't all drive the same kind of car. We don't all like the same color. We don't always all wear the same style clothes. So the same thing with the carnivore community, you have to find what works best for you. And I tell people sometimes, they're like, okay, give me the elevator speech about carnivore. So that's like when we get on the elevator together to the time we get off the elevator. So my elevator speech for that usually is, okay, here's the deal. Give it a try. Commit to 90 days. 90 days of carnivore. No sugar, no bread, no carbs, no sweets, no vegetables, no fruit.
No seed oils.
90 days. Just give it 90 days. 90. You could do anything for 90 days. And after 90 days, if you don't feel different, then you can go back to standard American diet. But if you're not going to, I tell people all the time, I say, you know how you go into Costco and they give you samples of things and you take a drink of it and you're like, oh, I love this vitamin drink. Let me buy it. Okay, so wouldn't it be cool if we could hand somebody a sample of carnivore and they could drink it and they could feel the way we feel like 6 months into carnivore and they could feel that way for 48 hours? Do you think they would go carnivore then? Yes, they would.
I never thought in a million bajillion gajillion quadrillion years that my husband would ever try this, because he's perfectly content eating the standard American diet. And he said he didn't have time and all the excuses, but after our cruise we went on, he just felt terrible. So he gave it a try for 3 weeks. And in 3 weeks, he lost 30 pounds, which obviously is inflammation. Just out there, you don't lose 30 pounds of fat in 3 weeks. That's not a thing. And he felt so great. And when he went to go back to eating the other foods, now he can feel it. So he's not quite there yet to continue on, but he knows that seed has been planted that, wow, I could feel so much better. I didn't even realize I felt like crap,
It's amazing. I love hearing people's success stories with it. Like, people who've gotten rid of autoimmune diseases, skin problems. I mean, all kinds of problems. And you're like, wow, who would have known all this is caused by the toxic, chemical, processed foods that we're eating? But that's what's doing it. It's all the bad foods. And, what do we all have in common? We all eat the bad foods. And that's what causes all these autoimmune and all kinds of sicknesses that we have. So yeah, definitely makes a huge difference.
And surgery can help you lose weight, but it isn't going to clear up your skin. It is not going to resolve anxiety and depression. It is not going to get rid of your skin tags. There's just so many, there are some benefits just in losing weight in itself. But then as you continue to fight, you keep eating the seed oils and you keep eating the foods that are inflaming you, you don't get the same benefits. But let me show everybody your social media so that they can all go follow you. Okay, hopefully the baby doesn't tip my light over. Can you see my screen?
I think it's loading. It looks like, yeah, it's loading. There it is.
Okay, so this is Audra's Instagram, and she shares a lot of stories. She does a lot of like daily updates, and I really love that. This is it showing your website now?
No, I think it's showing YouTube. I don't know. No, I think it is Instagram.
Here, let me.
I can't see it very well. It's small, but
it's still showing Instagram. Oh, weird. Okay, maybe it doesn't switch tabs. Hold on. All right, let me look at the next tab. Sorry, guys, I am new to StreamYard, and I'd say other than forgetting to hit live, it's going okay. Okay, so here we are. We're going to present. Here is your website.
Yeah, there we go. I see it.
So you can come here for her coaching and her story, and this is a great place to go. This links to her YouTube. There's her story, some of her before and after. Amazing. Feeling great. Some information about carnivore. And then I want to show your YouTube, because you have an up and coming YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And here's Audra's YouTube. So you can see she's been starting this. So come support Audra. And if you have any questions for us, please send them over. We'd be happy to answer them. And please be sure to check us out next week. Again, every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, or catch us on the replay. And thank you again, Audra, for being on our show today and sharing your very powerful story. Hopefully this will help people. Please share, like, and subscribe to our channels.
Thank you for having me. It's been awesome. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. Happy to spread the word and maybe help somebody. If it just helps one or two people, then you've got the word out there. Because I know when I needed help, I couldn't find it. And I thought, I thought I was getting help, same as you, but really this is the help. The carnivore community, the carnivore diet, the carnivore lifestyle, that's where it's at.
Yeah. And then just hearing people's stories, because when you Google, you don't get that. So the more stories we can share, I'd be happy to share the good stories, the bad stories, all the stories. We just want people to have the information that this is our experiences with the surgery, and this is our experience, what we do today. So Thank you all for coming. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a great day. See you later, Adrian.